In the U.S., the families of 9 victims of the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting have agreed to a $73 million settlement of a lawsuit against the maker of the rifle used to kill 20 first graders and 6 teachers. The 20-year-old Sandy Hook gunman Adam Lanza used a rifle made by Remington and legally owned by his mother to kill the children and school staff in December of 2012. The families and the survivor of the shooting sued Remington, saying the company should have never sold such a dangerous weapon to the public. The case was watched closely by gun control advocates, gun rights supporters, and manufacturers because of its potential to provide a roadmap for victims of other shootings to sue the makers of firearms. The families said their focus was on preventing future mass shootings.
It marks an inflection point when our duty of care to our children as a society finally supersedes the bottom line of an industry that made such an atrocity as Sandy Hook possible to begin with. Today is a day of accountability for an industry that has thus far enjoyed operating with immunity and impunity. And for this, I am grateful.
After Dylan's murder, I made a very early promise to do everything in my power to honor his short life by creating change that would save the lives of other children and prevent mass shootings like the one that destroyed our family. This lawsuit has been part of that promise. For 8 long years, we've continued our fight to hold Remington accountable for its role in prioritizing profit above safety and using reckless marketing techniques to appeal to at-risk and violence-prone young men. Marketing that has targeted those that want to appear more intimidating, more powerful, and more masculine through the use of their AR-15. The thousands of internal documents obtained in discovery for this paint a picture of a company that lost its way, choosing more aggressive marketing campaigns for profit, with no thought to the impact on their intended target user, and we can't wait to share those documents.
Today is not about honoring Ben. Today is about how and why he died. Today is about what is right and what is wrong. Today is about the last 5 minutes of his life, which were tragic, traumatic, and the worst thing that can happen to a child, and how they unfolded as they did.
Arise U.S. correspondent Rotimi Kade joins us now for more. Rotimi, this is a very significant case. Not only is there a financial settlement for the families of those killed in Sandy Hook, but crucially, a weapons maker is being held accountable for the damage caused by one of its guns. Tell us more.
Well, yes, indeed. This is a victory for anti-gun advocates and families that have lost loved ones in a senseless mass shootings in recent years, and a big sigh of relief, as a matter of fact. And also, this actually set the stage for more lawsuits in the future against gun makers that latched on the broad immunity they enjoyed under the protection of Lawful Commerce in Arms Act, which of course was passed by Congress and signed by former President George W. Bush in 2005. So this lawsuit is a long-winded litigation that started in 2015, and the gun makers actually tried all they could to actually prevent paying the settlements for the victims' families, and went as far as the state and the U.S. Supreme Court to get a reprieve, but unfortunately to no avail. Remington's decision to actually pay that sum of $73 million to actually end the lawsuit suggests that the companies weigh the risk of going to trial and opening its checkbook, which of course they don't have. They actually filed for bankruptcy in 2020, and then most of the company's assets has been given away or bought over by other companies. So this is a smart move on their part to actually pay those settlements.
And the case hinged on the Remington AR-15 and how it was marketed. Can you walk us through this?
Yes, the victims' families actually argued in court filings that the gun makers actually targeted young, at-risk people in marketing and, of course, product placement in violent video games and, of course, in a bombastic, militaristic language. And in one of those ads, it actually featured a mantra or a phrase that goes this way: consider your man card reissued. So the families latched on that and said this kind of language in marketing actually debays the very essence of communication, because majority of the people you're communicating with could be people who are some sort of mental health conditions. And in the case of the shooter, he had that, and of course, they shot his mother, the children, and when the police was almost, getting caught with him, he shot himself. So mental health, as against aggressive marketing of some of the very deadly guns, is one of the reasons why the judge actually considered the case as being, harmful to the people that are very vulnerable in society. But of course, the gun makers actually argue that there was no evidence to establish that its marketing had anything to do with the shooting.
All right, Rotimi, we heard a moment ago from some of the relatives who lost a child in the Sandy Hook massacre. What have we heard from the pro-gun community about this?
Well, actually, we've not heard from the NRA, that's the National Rifle Association, but we've heard from, as an associate of NRA and the National Shooting Sports Foundation, which of course was Newtown-based. That's where the shooting actually took place back in 2015. They argued that the plaintiffs, that's the families, actually never produced any evidence that the advertising of the guns, the particular Bushmaster AR-15 gun, had any bearing or influence over Nance's Lancer's decision to legally purchase the rifle, nor is there any decision of a murderer, the boy Adam Lancer, to steal the rifle, kill his mother, kill the people, and of course kill himself.
So, Rotimi, how might this play out in the States? What's the likelihood of other gun firms being taken to court?
Well, I think this particular lawsuit actually opened a lot of avenues for families of victims and past mass shootings to actually sue gun makers. And of course, this will definitely get to a point where there's going to be a serious denting of NRA's stronghold in the United States as regards owning guns and etc. Don't forget that this administration and previous Democratic administrations, talking about from the Democratic Party, have advocated for the control of guns, but of course they always have some opposition from the Republicans who believe that it's almost a violation of their constitutional rights to own a gun in the United States. But I think moving forward, it's definitely going to be a debate that we're going to be, talking about in many years to come.
Certainly a welcome and new chapter in gun control in the U.S. Thank you so much for your information this afternoon, Rotimi.